Yep, that's good. Very good. Brackets, homemade brackets on my bender. Why did I make these brackets, you ask? I'm gonna tell you. We're dealing in the wall cabinets now, okay? Before I put my pretty ceiling in, before I put my nice wall in, I gotta make sure that all of my hardware is in place so that when I come in after the fact to mount my cabinets, I land where I need to land for my support. So, support, you say. The wall cabinets, main support is on the side wall, and then there's another main support up here on the ceiling. And they are simply connected with your face pieces, bottom piece and a face piece. That's how you make a cabinet. Very simple. Here, I've got a good solid place to mount that support right down the line. This is the galley cabinet. Okay, it's about 30 inches wide. Very good place to support that. There's a number of ways to do it. I could come in here with an angle iron, and I can now, when I screw that all together, it's got a good place. It's not slipping. It's not coming out. I come in this way and I go in that way. I got 2 points of entry. Not so up here. If I just tap through the wood and into their frame member, and then we drive this van around and it's the earthquake that's inside a van, these things could work their way loose and drop. I don't want that cabinet to drop. I want more insurance than that, okay? I wear a belt and suspenders. My pants will never fall down. So I made these brackets. These brackets are going to be mounted into the chassis strut from the sides, okay? They sit up there. Now they're locked in. Then I put my support, my wall bracket up. I go right through the 80-20, right through my bracket, through the wood and through the chassis. Now I've added an extra 3/16 of thickness to bite those threads. So now those threads are sitting in 2 sets of steel, or aluminum and steel, passing through the pine as well. But the key is that side mount of this bracket. Once I do that, I've given myself a good solid base. I know this isn't coming down. I'll be able to do pull-ups on this. I did pull-ups on the other one in Van 01. That's how I tested the validity of that design. Is I just hung on it. It was fine, 160 pounds. You're not gonna put that much in the van. We got a couple of cool ideas here with the cutouts in the ceiling. As you know, we put a 2x2 frame around the inside of the cutout. It's glued and screwed, okay? And then the weight of it is carried out to the ceiling struts for the van. The next thing we did is we padded down with 1/2-inch plywood. And then we have our decorative ceiling inside. We'll have another decorative ceiling that comes up here. The point that I want to make today is for the air conditioner primarily, but for anything that you're going to put through the roof, you need a good solid connection of material. Nothing mushy, no gaps where you're going to get give. See, this is all solid. There's the Impact Products gasket up here from Hein. It's a 3D printed gasket that you put up on the roof. You glue that down first, and what that 3D printed gasket does is it fills in the gaps in the roof. The vans come with those bends for strength, but it's a nightmare when you want to seal it up. Typically, people have been using silicone, caulk, whatever you want to do, and they load it up in those valleys to bring it up to the same height as the high points on the roof. This gasket takes care of all that. It leaves you glue it down, and it's perfectly matched to the shape of the roof, Sprinter or ProMaster. Then it leaves you with a nice smooth surface to mount to. And it elevates you another 1/4 inch up off the roof, that's even better for minimizing any chance of water intrusion. So we got a real tight fit all the way around this way, because when you put that air conditioner in, there's long bolts in each of the 4 corners, and it relies on that torque pressure The only thing on an air conditioner that sits up there to block the weather is a 2-inch gasket of foam. And the way the design is, it relies on you compressing and pulling that air conditioner down and squeezing it into the mounting plate that's inside here. So if you got a mushy pack of material in between, you're never going to get a good seal. So that's what's important here. This is rock solid. Next thing we did, which I think is an ingenious idea, you've got Heinz gasket, you got the chassis of the roof, you got the pine, you got the plywood, you got your decorative ceiling. Dave went in and loaded up silicone and brushed it in, sealing up all of these seams. And our theory behind this is if you do have a failure and you get a leak and there's water intrusion, water, like electricity, follows the path of least resistance, right? So if all of these openings here and seams are sealed, that water is going to run directly down into the shroud of the fan or the air conditioner. Whereas if it wasn't sealed up, that water could weep into a seam, run down the ceiling, come out the other place, run down and dry out. Now you don't know you have a leak. So what we're hoping to accomplish with this is that if, God forbid, you have a leak, you're going to know it sooner than later, because we're trying to direct the water to a point where we're going to know it's leaking. Pretty smart. I like that. I'm going to do that in every van moving forward. The LC1230. I work with a lot of aluminum, extruded aluminum, called 80/20. It's no secret. I cut a lot of aluminum. So I figured I should have a special tool that cuts aluminum. And this baby is the tool. After all my research, this is the tool. This tool is made specifically for cutting aluminum and steel, depending on the blade you use. So I need to do a little homework. I need to figure out how to use it, but this is going to replace my old rigid chop saw. This is supposed to give me a cleaner, smoother, more precise cut on aluminum. I can't wait. Well, Bosto. In van number 1, I used a system called Esparbacher. It's a German company, super high quality, excellent components, flawless in their design. Diesel fired furnace, okay? Sprinter was a diesel coach, diesel fired furnace. You make your hot water, you make your cabin heat, radiant heat in the floor, closed loop, all off that furnace. They also have air heaters for just the cabin. And Bosto is a very similar company. In fact, I believe that they are neighbors. Their factories are side by side in Germany. So, German company. For this particular van, I felt as though Bosto was a better product to go with. This is a ProMaster. It's a gasoline-fired coach, right? This is a gasoline-fired furnace to heat the cabin. Hot air in the cabin, gasoline-fired. Given the way this couple will use their van, how they want to make their power and use their power, I felt this was a better system. Bosto, in my opinion, is a little more end-user friendly. And I'm reminded of a massive company in my old industry, Kodak. When we all started going digital, Kodak went digital, they started rolling out their products, and the professionals didn't like what they were seeing, and they weren't buying it. And Kodak wasn't listening to what we wanted. They just kept on making their product and trying to force it down our throats. And we didn't buy it, we didn't bite. 3M came out with their 3M Rainbow Dye Sublimation Printer. Boom. I think I bought the first one. We're off to the races with products that consumers need and want and built through market research. That's what this is. Look at this. This is a heady piece of equipment, isn't it? This is a diagnostic tool that Bosto sent me. It comes with its own nipple clamps. Bosto is sending a tech to the shop. The tech is going to train Alex and I to become certified Bosto installers. This is a big deal for Humble Road. This means that we can expand what we do in our vans. We've got the backing of a company behind us. And I got to tell you, Bosto is not Kodak. I'm not saying S-Bar is at all. Bosto and S-Bar are on the same par quality-wise. But you know what? There's a voice and a name and a rep and a person at Bosto that I can deal with. That's a big deal. That means a lot when you're a little guy and you've got troubles, you got problems, you need product. I got someone I can talk to. I've got his cell phone number. Bosto is coming out with a new line of products that I'm very excited about. They're out, not coming out. They're out. I'm just getting introduced to them, and I'm excited to try to incorporate them into these van builds. If you remember, I told you that head unit, the radio and the dash, head units, obsolete, get rid of it, put an iPad there, make it look like a Tesla, right? Well, the rooftop air conditioner is the next thing to go, in my opinion. I don't want to put another rooftop air conditioner on a van. They're pigs. They're energy pigs. They're expensive to run. Don't want them. This new system from Bosto, I think it's going to replace that air conditioner and the gas-fired furnace. It's a dual use piece of equipment. So I'm excited to work with that as well. We'll see. I've also been testing workflow in the little tool room. I need to maximize efficiency using all our tools in there. Because there is another van arriving next week. That's right. One of the ProMaster window vans I spoke about is coming in. Once I complete and deliver Vagabond to Florida, I start building two vans side by side. One, the ProMaster window van for a full-timer, and the other, a 4x4 Sprinter for a couple who intend to retrace an epic journey they made when they were young. The compare and contrast of these two builds will leave our heads spinning.